Next up is a research team report titled Deploying Best Practices in Unfamiliar Countries. Our presenter is Jim Sexton from Procter & Gamble. He has over 35 years of construction and engineering experience, including assignments in project controls, cost engineering, field engineering, project management, and safety management. Since joining P&G in 1991, he has managed close to $1 billion of capital projects in 20 countries. Please join me in welcoming Jim Sexton.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm here to represent Research Team 294, Deploying Best Practices in Unfamiliar Countries, a team made up of global construction experts and a Richard L. Tucker Award winner from last night that has a question for all of you in the audience today. Do your best practices have a passport? Are the tried and true methods that have worked for you so well in your home countries working for you now in countries that are unfamiliar to you and your companies? Or are you learning like the rest of us that working internationally takes a different mindset and different best practices? Research Team 294 was deployed to develop best practices, metrics, processes, and tools in order for you to go abroad with confidence. So, like every research team, we were asked to deploy and answer an essential question, and here's ours. So how do we systematically deploy best practices to achieve successful project results in areas of the world where we have no previous professional cultural experience? Now, unlike you, I had this fear of run-on sentences and someone asking me to diagram that sentence. So we tried to simplify that for us, and we came up with this. Do you have a passport for your best practices? Our research indicated that there were 9 categories that determine whether your project were successful or not. So our question to you is, do you have a passport stamp for the following categories? Communication like nothing or anything you've ever seen before. Unique geography and logistic conditions. Ever-changing market and political environments. Challenging safety and security standards. Differing social and cultural norms. Challenging business customs. Human resources and workforce like nothing you've ever experienced before. Legal and contractual issues. Deferring regulations. In short, are you ready for this?
So, what do you think? Did you answer yes to all those questions? Because if you did, you really shouldn't go to our breakout session because we really have nothing for you. Except, of course, we want your name and contact information because you should be on our research team. However, in the highly unlikely event that you said no to at least one of those questions we just asked you, then do we have a tool for you? Because over the last 2 years, our research team has developed a solution specifically for you. Our effort revolved around 3 key aspects. Oops, sorry, went too far. Developing a readiness metric, determining a process to adjust the gaps in your readiness, and combining the metrics into a process and tool ready for use. We call this tool our International Readiness Passport, and it's how your best practices can be ready to go abroad with confidence. So before I share you the tool, I want to share a story where if I had the International Readiness Passport on one of my projects, it would benefit me greatly. About 4 years ago, my company decided to build a new diaper facility outside of Cairo, Egypt. About that same time, the Arab Spring broke out. This picture was taken by my superintendent outside our construction gate. Now, I can assure you back then and probably now, we had no best practice that says, what do you do if a tank is parked outside your construction gate? I'm also not here to tell you that the International Readiness Passport would have predicted the Arab Spring. I'd like to, but I won't. But what it would have done is given me a systematic way to analyze the risk associated with that project. And it would have dealt specifically with safety and security, one of our 9 key categories. Now, I can assure you our risk prediction before this project started was much different than after the Arab Spring. And unfortunately, with what's going on right now in Cairo, Egypt, our risk prediction would have been significantly different. So, when you come to our breakout session, what will you see? You won't see a tank, but you'll see a completed research tool. We'll show you how the tool was validated. We'll show you how we got to where we came up with the processes that we have. But let me just show you a few of our screenshots just to whet your appetite for what you will see. So this is the launch pad where you enter your information on your project in the country you're working in. Next, the readiness check is where you answer your questions on your readiness on 62 issues over the 9 categories we previously have shown you. Next, we'll take you to the process generation page. This is where your best practices gaps are identified, and you can decide whether you want to have information shown on how you can bridge those gaps. Finally, a report is generated that highlights the gaps that you've encountered and provides a list of mitigating strategies for you and your project. Your passport will now be stamped, and you can go abroad with confidence. So like every other research team, we were asked to solve our essential question. But our research team wanted to go beyond that, and we decided what would be our gift to the construction industries. So here's some of the benefits that we believe the tool will provide you on your project. First, you'll gain increased confidence to plan work internationally by being able to recognize your readiness to work in unfamiliar countries. Second, you'll improve your capability to identify the risk of deploying best practices abroad and gain practical solutions to mitigate these risks. Third, you'll be given a rational and validated approach to apply this new knowledge and the gaps in the solutions directly to implement it on your project. And finally, this is a global tool. So that includes companies where the US, Mexico, and Canada are considered unfamiliar countries. So behind me is a list of the folks who pulled together this research that will help you go abroad with confidence. We're very proud of this team. We've mentioned Chemo's award, but we also want to make sure that JT and his Distinguished Professor Award is part of this team. The interesting part about this team is I know there are at least 15 different dialects and languages that are spoken, sometime at the same time during our meetings, which led to some interesting meetings. I personally consider this team the best of the best, and I want to thank you guys for the ride you've given me the last 2 years. So here's a map of the 86 countries where Research Team 294 members have direct on-the-ground experience. Additionally, we went out and sought the opinion of 50 experts. We call them oracles, to find out where were the barriers that they encountered on their projects. Together, these experts have over 500 years of construction experience and 300 years of international experience. Your passport can go with confidence and will be stamped knowing when you used our tool. So, if you said no to one of our questions, and even if you said yes, please still come. Come to Mediterranean Salon 6 and 7 after lunch and at 3 o'clock. We'll show you the tool. Our tool is completed, and like others, it's on the CII website. We'll go through a validated approach. We'll show you how it works. We'll hand you your own Research Team International Passport. We'll also give you the USB drive, so you'll be ready to use our analysis today. And so when you come to our research team, I'm sure you'll agree with members of Research Team 294 that with all due respects to our friends in Disney, perhaps it's not such a small world after all. Thanks for your attention. We look forward to seeing you at the Mediterranean Room 6 and 7, and go Bearcats.